From the heart of Hawkeye Nation comes the show that dissects the plays, debates the calls, and celebrates the victories. This isn't just a podcast. This is your unfiltered access to the mind of two diehard fans. They live and breathe black and gold, and they're here to give you the honest, raw takes you won't find anywhere else. Get ready for deep dive analysis, passionate debate, and a unique perspective on the team you love. This is Punting is Winning with JD and Keith.
Welcome back, Hawkeye sports fans, to Punting is Winning, your All Iowa podcast. We are your hosts, JD and Keith. We are now starting season 3 with game week on us this week. A long time coming, but it's finally here. We got official depth chart today.
Yes, I saw that. Really not a whole
lot.
There was not a surprise. I don't think there's much surprise. The only thing I was thinking was that, they've got, and I'm looking at that kind of Jack Dotzler or Trevor Locke, Lauk. And
a lot of oars.
A lot of oars. And I was a little surprised that Bryce Hawthorne and Jonah Pace being in the mix there. I mean, as far as, one over the other.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're both.
And I was kind of surprised Sam Phillips over Reese Vandersee, but I mean, I shouldn't say surprised in the sense of like blew my mind, but I don't know. It just seems somebody made a comment about small receivers, and I guess I get it, but it shouldn't really matter. If a guy can catch and he can fly, who cares?
Yeah,
he can high point the ball and he can jump. No matter if he's 6'4" or 5'9".
Reese Vandersee's going to see the field plenty.
Oh yeah,
that'll be an issue. A lot of these guys are going to see the field, even though they're not listed as a starter. Maybe they're listed as a second. They'll still play an oodles amount of time on the field. They'll get their time.
Yeah, I mean, I know in today's day and age of paying players and NIL and whatnot, the depth chart does mean a little bit more. But I still think in Kirk Ferentz's mind, it doesn't really matter. You could put out a depth chart that says this, this, and this, and 9 times out of 10, it's never right.
Yeah.
So, take it with a grain of salt. It's just something to put on paper, something that your opponent gets to look at. Maybe you just want to be a little coy about it and say, well, these are my starters, and they're not really. It's up to you.
Yeah.
Doesn't really matter.
Just something I think he feels like he has to do. I think that's something that there's a Big Ten mandate that he has to have put out a 2 deep every week. I mean, I don't know. I think that's the case, but I could be wrong. Yeah. So you just throw something on paper and could change, right before the game starts.
Yeah, absolutely. Because you got a whole week of prep that something could happen.
Yep. Yeah, someone could get dinged up in practice and not play that first game, and I'm not sure after we go through the opponent here, I'm not sure we're going to need them.
Well, I think less more about being dinged up and maybe screwing up and breaking a team rule or something, getting suspended for the first game late.
Luckily, we haven't had any issues with the off season and the first 3 weeks of camp. It's not been an issue. So hopefully, knock on wood, that will continue.
Well, let's take care of some business from last week. We'll talk about the question of the week. Last week was the Vegas odds makers have Iowa at a 7.5 win total. Do you think they'll be over or under? And I think the consensus was
over.
Typically over. And I think that's kind of the norm.
I, however, will break the rules or break the norm and go with under. I think they will win 7 games. I don't think 7.5. Or, obviously they can't win a half a game, but obviously it's either 7 or 8, and I think they win 7 and go the under. And I hate to be that way, and I hope I'm wrong. I hope they win 13 games, 14 games, whatever it is, 15. I hope they win the whole thing. I mean, that's my hope.
I'm not going to offer a prediction. I'm not going to offer a prediction yet, just because I want to see them first.
Well, we did get to see our second week opponent on Saturday.
Yeah.
In sloppy
I did
weather.
not watch them. to be honest.
I watched the majority of the first half, but I got busy doing something else in the second half. I guess that's the half I should have been watching, but it was sloppy. It was also a very rainy, sloppy day, and the field conditions weren't great. I don't know how much you take from that. I mean, they did have enough to win. So that will set up probably, they're going to probably end up beating South Dakota this coming Saturday. So you're probably looking at an undefeated Iowa State team coming in, probably ranked anywhere between 12 and 15, I would guess, after that win. So, that sets up for a pretty good showdown with them coming up on September 6th.
Now, like I said, I can't offer any insight on it because I didn't watch any of it. I had a lot of stuff going on this weekend, so I didn't get a chance to watch any of it. But
not the greatest.
Everything that I'm hearing is they didn't really look that great.
They didn't, but also you got to remember the weather was not great. First game of the season, you got a decent, ranked opponent. Like I said, you don't take a lot. I don't think I take a lot out of that because with it being the first game and being against a ranked opponent, you did win. That's the number one thing that they probably wanted to take out of it is let's get the win. We'll figure out the rest and we'll fix what we need to and we'll move on. That's the mindset, everybody's got to have. I think after the first game is just fix what you need to fix and move on, get better.
Yep. All right. Well, let's get a new question of the week for this week and kind of steal one that I saw earlier in the week that you can go with an offense or defense or both if you want. But I want to know, who do you think will be the impact or breakout players this year for Iowa? And I'm not saying that it has to be somebody that we wouldn't expect. It could be Mike Gronowski is your impact breakout player. He just has a phenomenal year. That's fine. It doesn't have to be somebody that's not being talked about. Just who do you think will have the best year from a statistical standpoint or from a play standpoint? Like if it's an offensive lineman, obviously statistics don't factor into that as much, other than maybe tackles or sacks given up or something like that. But see what you think.
For an example, like last year, Caleb Johnson. Obviously, he was a breakout player. Nobody talked about him at the beginning of the season really doing what he did. He broke out. He has the rushing record for touchdowns, I think, after last year.
Yes.
So I mean, nobody who saw that coming. So there's an example of a perfect breakout player. I mean that is the epitome of the definition of breakout player. So you could go that route. You can just say somebody that's really doing well and they're Xavier Womp or something doing his final year and having a breakout season, maybe 4 interceptions and a return for a touchdown or something like that. And there's a lot of opportunities to select players on both sides of the ball. And there could be, like you said, Gronowski could be a breakout player. He could throw for 3,000 yards. Something hasn't been done for a long time at Iowa.
Yeah, I'd say a breakout player in my book would be a wide receiver that catches, more than 40 passes in the year.
Well, you're expecting a lot.
But we'll see. I'm not. I want to see what everybody else has to say about that.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Well, let's talk a little bit about that first opponent.
Okay, I did some
Albany.
Yeah, I did some research and I spent about an hour and a half, 2 hours, and I went through. They're the University of Alabama Great Danes. They were the
Albany, not Alabama.
I'm sorry, Alabama. Auburn. No,
Albany.
Albany. Okay, I got it. University of Albany Great Danes, established in 1844. They will be coached by a first-year coach and I believe interim coach, Jared Ambrose. They are FCS Division I. They are in the Coastal Athletic Association. It's a 13-team conference. University of Albany was formed in 2000, or the University of Albany football team was established in 2005, but their first season wasn't until 2007. Last season they were 4-8. What they have returning, I can give you some examples of who they have returning. They have a freshman quarterback, redshirt freshman quarterback named Van Weber.
I think he's injured.
Is he injured? Because he's the only one that's thrown a pass in an Albany uniform. So they're going to have to go with somebody else. Okay, well, in 24, he was 68 of 22, but if he's not playing, it really doesn't make much difference to us. Returning running backs, they've got 3 guys that carried the ball last year. One was kind of a standout. It's JoJo. His last name is UGA. I'd say Uga. And he had 422 yards on 100 carries. So they're pretty inexperienced. In the quarterback room, apparently now that the quarterback that was there last year is no longer going to be available to the Iowa game. The running backs, 100 carries is the most any of them have had. Their returning wide receiver with the most receptions was 24, 271 yards, 3 TDs, and 11.3 average, and that's Caden Birdie. Otherwise,
a star for us last year.
Yeah, he probably would have been. But their other two receivers that have had any experience both have one catch. And one of them was for 2 yards. As far as their kickers, they have a kicker on roster that is 1 for 2 in field goals. So he's not kicked a lot, and he has no extra point attempts. They also have a punter that actually, they have a pretty good punter. They have a nice punter. He punted 52 times last year for 42.1 average, and he had a long of 74. He can also do some of the place kicking duties if needed. Their tight end actually has caught several passes, 16 passes for 126 yards, so they will throw to the tight end. Be careful of that. As far as their offensive line, they are very, very inexperienced in the offensive line. And their left tackle has 1 game of experience. They do have another left tackle that probably won't start, but might start. He's got 14 games of experience. The other left tackle in the depth chart has no experience.
I think the 14-game guy is actually projected to be their left guard.
Okay, so well, there you go. The most that anybody comes in with is that one guy with 14 games. Everybody else, the guards, one guy's 13. The other reserve is no games. Left guard, 12 games. Just centers. There are 2 centers listed on their 2 deeps. Neither one of them have snapped the ball at all in a game at this level. Their right guard, 3 games of experience. Their right tackles, there's no experience on. That's why I say this whole, and I could go through this, but I'm not going to get real crazy with it. But there's not a lot of experience on their offensive line. So I have a feeling that the Iowa defensive line is going to have a heyday with these guys, at least until they get get their stuff put together and figure it out. Defensive wise, I'm not going to go through a bunch of this stuff on players and that, but I will tell you that their back end of the defense has got experience. They are they're pretty decent. Not a lot of pickoffs though. They only have, I think, one person has 2 pickoffs in his career, and that is it. The rest of them just have a single one. Some don't have any. They're one of the right cornerbacks that's listed on the 2 deeps didn't even play last year. Free safety is actually decent, 50 tackles, 1 interception, 2 pass breakups. But there's not a lot here for the back end. Now their linebackers aren't too bad. They've got a guy named Ron Holmes. He's had 88 tackles, 7 for a loss and 1 sack. Their will linebacker's 48 tackles. Their Mike is 22 tackles and a sack. And there's 2 other guys with no experience. There's really, there's not a lot of experience, but their back end actually seems like it's got quite a bit of experience. Their nose tackle has never played. There's really not a lot here. I'd say players to watch on defense. There's a strong safety named Denzel Patrick. He has 54 tackles, 2 pass breakups last year. Linebacker Ron Holmes, I mentioned him. Free safety Thomas Joe Kamara. He's got, let me find him, free safety. He's on this other page. He's got 50 tackles, 2 pass breakups, and an interception. So, I've got all kinds of stuff here on this, but, and their left end, Ibrahim Sonogo. And, he'll be decent, at the end, left end. He's got 24 tackles, 5 for a loss, and 2 sacks.
I see. I thought you were going with Ibrahim Moises.
Ibrahim Moises.
Keel there.
Yeah, Key and Peel. No, that's really all I have on them. I think this very inexperienced offensive line, like I said. Running backs, they have 3 guys that have run the ball at least. Punter seems decent. Kicker, very little experience. Defense seems solid on the back end. Safeties and ends are good. Interior defensive line is inexperienced. I've got a kind of a prediction here too, if we want to go that route. What do you think? What are you thinking on Albany? I thought I would be up maybe 38-3 at the end of the game.
Well, it depends if Tim Lester's allowed to call his game or not, or
Well,
if, they're going to call the dogs off at some point. But it should be a name your store type of game. I mean, based on what I've saw on paper and what I've seen them return, there's not a lot of production there, and the production it is returning is not proven. It's not a high commodity. Again, we'd probably say their wide receiver with the most catches would be a top receiver on our team last year. Now, hopefully that's not the case this year. I just didn't see a whole lot out of them that's really going to give them much of a challenge. So more than likely that means Iowa wins 14-3, because that's typically how it works. But honestly, I would be surprised, unless there's an absolute total breakdown of something, I would be surprised if Albany scores a touchdown.
Yeah. Agreed.
And probably be surprised if they get any points on the board, unless it's off of a silly turnover or something, sudden change where I just don't see the defense allowing a touchdown at all. Mm-hmm. And I would say from a total yard standpoint, I'd probably guess it's going to be similar to probably a Rutgers game of about 2016 maybe, where I think Rutgers didn't get over 100 yards until late in the fourth quarter. So I can see something very similar to that. But I hope that Albany comes out and tries to throw a lot, because that's going to be what our corners need. They need tested. Mm-hmm. So I hope they do that. And I kind of, I know this sounds really strange to say, but I kind of hope they have a little bit of success to start with, because that'll give them more confidence to keep doing it. And that'll give our guys more confidence to be on the same page there. I don't want them to, they can't throw the ball, so we're going to just load up on the run, and we don't see a whole lot out of that back end. They don't get tested. They don't get a lot of experience other than just tackling experience. So I don't know. It's kind of a weird thing to say that I hope they have a little success, but yet not a lot. So I'm guessing if Tim Lester's allowed to call the game the way he wants, I could see 48-0. But I don't see them. I see Iowa getting up to be about 35-0 and lay it off.
And that's a possibility. What I saw was I read somewhere, I believe last weekend, about Iowa is a 40-point favorite, and the over/under is 50. So I assume they're saying that it's going to be 40-9 or 40-8 or something similar to that.
43-7.
Yeah, as long as it's 50 or under, or 50 is the over/under. You wouldn't want to push there, but yeah, I don't know if I'd take the under or over on that one.
I'd probably take the under, but I would say it'll be because Albany doesn't score. I think Iowa will score in the 40s.
Don't take our advice for betting, but I would take the under on that as also. I don't think Iowa's going to score over 50, and I don't see Albany scoring at all, or 3 maybe would be all. I just don't see it. Unless
there's an absolute breakdown on a special teams play or a critical turnover. In our, their punter's good, so if he pins us deep and we fumble the ball or something, give them a short field where they can get a field goal. I don't see him moving the ball down the field to get into field position. If we have to play the field position game with them and they're constantly starting the ball, on their side of the field at the 20, 25, 30-yard line, they're not going to get in field goal range.
I feel like if their starting quarterback, who I thought would be the starter, you say who's hurt, if he doesn't play, this might be the weakest team Iowa has played in 40 years. I mean, they are not good. This should be really. I think Kirk will call off the dogs when they get up 35-0. I think he'll call off the dogs and he'll just vanilla it from there on out.
Well, it's going to be pretty vanilla anyway, I think.
Well, it won't have to be anything but vanilla, I wouldn't think. So I don't know. Maybe you play a little loose and have some fun with it. Do some end arounds. Do some, throw the ball out of the backfield. Let the give it a handoff and let him throw the ball a little bit. See what happens.
Okay. So I'm going to bring this off the cuff for you and unscripted. What's the first play going to be? First offensive play
for Iowa.
Mm-hmm.
Hand off to Kabari Bolton over the right side for 3.
Okay. I'm going to say it's going to be a play action, square in to Jacob Gill.
No, Kirk's not going to throw the ball in the first play of the game. He's not.
That's going to be the best way to shake off the rust.
He's not going to let Tim Lester
did it last year.
2 years in a row. They're not going to do it 2 years in a row. That's just that was an oddity. It's not going to happen.
No, I think the predictability of the off right tackle, off left tackle, first play, second play, third play, play action, miss over the middle punt might be a thing of the past for this game at least.
Well, it could be for this game, but I don't think he's abandoning his morals, and he's going to stay with what he knows. And he may tell Tim, "We're going to leave half the playbook here because we don't need it in the locker room. We don't need it. We're just going to run vanilla plays. We're not going to have any real exotics. We're not going to show anybody anything." The thing that is, to me, what you need to do is you need to show some things so that the defense of the next several opponents is aware of it, so that they actually have something in their mind to say, they threw out of this. They don't always throw out of this, but they threw out of it this time. We got to stay back. Instead of creeping forward like on a handoff around the edge, they'll creep up to make the tackle, and all of a sudden, boom, you throw the ball over there. They got to stay back that way. That helps the running game. There's a lot of tools of thought here, but
here's the thing in my book. Everybody who plays Iowa, everybody who's ever watched Iowa, pretty much knows the game plan has been load up the box, try to stop the run. I have a feeling that's what Albany's going to do. Until Iowa can prove that they can throw the ball, everybody's going to load up the box to stop the run. So why not come out trying to throw? You're probably already going to start off with a mismatch right off the bat.
Well, okay, so let me ask you this. What do you think the end result of the first series will be for Iowa on offense? What's the end result? Points? No points? Punt? What are we doing?
We'll probably be punting from our own, or from the Albany 45.
Yeah, that's kind of what I do.
Or, if depending on the weather situation, he might allow you to try to kick one.
It's supposed to be beautiful.
Well, I'm talking wind-wise, as far as, whether there's any wind or anything. Might allow him to try to kick one. I don't know. I doubt it, but,
he'd have to be over the 50 for sure.
62-yard field goal from the 45. Yeah. Who knows?
Yeah.
I mean, the odds are probably more in favor of the drive will end in no points or in a punt. But, I don't know.
Well, if he's going to try a 62-yard field goal and allow the kid to try a 62-yard field goal, this would be the week to do it.
Oh, yeah.
Because I don't think it really makes much difference whether he makes it or not. If he makes it, hey, hallelujah, great. You know what you got. If he doesn't make it, you stop him, give him 7 or 8 yards, and they punt back to you anyway. So it doesn't hurt you. I just don't think their offense is strong enough to go against our defense and actually do anything. I really don't. As little experience as they have on their offense, they don't scare me at all. Not even a little bit.
I would completely agree. And I just, like I said, I see this being something similar to I think it was the 2016 Rutgers game or 17 Rutgers game where, it was late in the game before Rutgers even hit 100 yards total offense. That was probably about
27-0 game?
Yeah, I think so. It was,
and they just didn't do anything all day.
Yeah, I don't think they got past 100 yards until like the last 3 minutes of the game.
Yeah.
And I think they ended up with like 117 maybe total.
Yeah. I mean, I guess you hold my feet to the fire. Yeah, I had Iowa 38, Albany 3, and the only reason I think they get 3 is because of a mistake. That Iowa either throws a pickoff or they drop the ball in their own territory, and Albany just lucks out and kicks a field goal. That's really all.
All right, let's play a little bit of a game here.
Okay.
And I'll give you a scenario. You tell me yes or no. Whether it will or won't happen.
Okay.
Iowa passes for 250 yards.
No.
Okay. Iowa passes for 3 touchdowns.
Maybe.
Okay.
Possible. I doubt it.
Iowa has a running back that goes over 100 yards.
Yes.
Iowa has 2 running backs that go over 100 yards.
Yes.
Iowa has 2 running backs that go over 100 yards and a third running back that gets 60.
Yes.
Okay. Caden Weegan will return a kick or a punt for a touchdown.
Whoa. No.
Okay. Drew Stevens will hit a 50-plus yard field goal.
No. He won't need to.
Reese Dakin's punt average will be under 45 yards.
Yes.
Reason being?
Because Iowa's going to have the ball and probably he only going to be punting probably 4 or 5 times all day.
Okay, that was my next question. How many punts will he have?
Maybe 3 or 4.
Okay.
Maybe. And that might be pushing it.
Okay. Iowa will pick off at least 2 passes.
Yes.
One of those will be returned for a touchdown.
Yes.
And they're going to continue the streak first game.
Yes.
Okay. Let's see what else do I got.
I need my crystal ball here so I can look and see.
Okay. Iowa will record a safety.
No.
And over under on total amount of turnovers for Albany at 3. Over or under?
Over.
Okay.
I think it's going to be 4.
Over under on turnovers by Iowa at 1.
Over. I think they do 2.
Okay.
Both are fumbles.
Trying to think of what else we've got here.
Quarterback sacks.
Oh, yeah. Okay, quarterback sacks. Iowa will record 5 QB sacks on the day or more.
Over. I think they'll get 6 or more. I think their offensive line is bad.
Iowa will allow 2 or less sacks.
Ooh, I would say 2 or less. I'm going to go with the less. I think it will be 2, but I think it's less than that. In that case, I have to pick over or under, so I'm going to pick under.
We will have a receiver that has 100 yards receiving.
No.
Here's the last one. We will have a wide receiver with more catches than a tight end.
No. I think the tight end position
Tight end will be the leading receiver.
Will be I think the tight end position. I'm not saying Addison Stringa. I'm talking the position will have 6 catches, and the rest of the wide receivers will combine for 5.
All right. Let me throw one more in here. Mark Gronowski will have a higher completion percentage than Hank Brown. no minimum. So you're going to
talking
be
about
betting
for
on
this game only.
for this game. Yes, so you're going to be betting on the fact that Gronowski's completion percentage will be higher than Brown's, with the option that possibly Brown throws one pass all day for completion as the caveat. You don't know.
Completion percentage. I think Hank Brown will have a higher completion percentage. I think he'll either go 2 of 3 or 3 of 5. And I think Gronowski will be just underneath of that at like 9 of 16.
Okay. We do this a lot during basketball season here at the house, where we have we call it basketball bingo, and a lot of that's predicated on the announcers and what they'll say. Think of back when the Garza years, right after he had the tumor removed from his stomach, and how many times you get a space if the announcers mention that. You get a space if they called him Joe Wieskamp Wheezy, or they talk about Bohannon with his 3-point percentage, or Keegan Murray, or there will be a mention during this game of Cooper DeJean.
Yes.
Okay.
His name will come up.
In what context?
That he was an Iowa alum and he's playing in the NFL and doing very well.
I think the context will be more along the lines of Weegan will have a good return of about 30 or 40 yards that doesn't go for a touchdown. He'll just, he'll get shoestring tackle or something, and they'll mention, having the abilities like Cooper DeJean or something, or they'll bring up that DeJean return against Minnesota, something to that effect.
Yes.
Yeah, I see that happening.
How about this one? How about how many times will they show when they cut to commercial, they show a cornfield or a combine or something similar to that?
I'm not even I would never place that bet, because if I said no, it'd be a losing bet to start with.
Absolutely.
It's just
that'll be the openings. Probably the opening scene is "Welcome to Kinnick Stadium," and there'll be a picture of a combine or a cornfield, and then they'll cut to Kinnick Stadium. Welcome to Iowa City, that kind of thing. It seems like that happens every single time.
Yeah, the national perception is that Iowa is nothing but a bunch of cornfields.
Yep.
Which, I mean, for the most part, it is. But we do have, it's a misnomer to say Iowa City's that way, because it's not.
Well, the misnomer is that Iowa is this big flat ground that everywhere you can put a crop in, you can. It's not that way. Have you been to Northeast Iowa? It's pretty hilly up there. I've deer hunted up there, and it is a killer on your legs to walk like that up and down those hills. It is big time. And the Southern has more of a rolling hill type of thing, not quite as steep, but just so, I mean, anybody that thinks the state of Iowa is flat. Now, if you want to go up around Mason City and go from Mason City over to say Spencer, it's pretty flat up there. But to say that the entire state is one great big flat land is a misconception. That's not correct.
So one last one here,
okay.
And this is a big one. This game, a win will tie Kirk Ferentz for all-time wins in the Big Ten Conference.
How many times will it be mentioned?
No.
I'd say
will Kirk
over under 6.
Will we get emotional Kirk at the end of the game?
Not this game. This is a tie.
It'll happen when he does. So let's say he breaks it against Iowa State. You guarantee it'll happen.
Absolutely, because he'll do it again on the road against a ranked team. Okay. Then he will absolutely. He will. Yes.
I think it's going to depend on who the sideline reporter is.
Is this FS1? I think it is, isn't it?
I thought it was Big Ten Network.
Oh, no, I don't think so. I think it's FS1 at 5 o'clock.
I will look.
Okay, you do that, but I think it's FS1.
It's not Gus Johnson, is it?
I hope not. I think he's CBS.
I don't know. I like Gus Johnson. I just think his calls get a little bit annoying.
Well, it's just like,
Um,
Billy Packer and
hey, it is
Raf
FS1.
3, and they do their bend to bend thing. That just it's the stick is old. Do something different, figure some new thing out and use that.
Yeah. So it is FS1.
Yeah, I thought so.
I thought it was Big Ten Network.
So
just because of the quality of the opponent.
Does it say on there who the announcers are supposed to be?
I have seen that somewhere, and that's why I'm looking for right now.
Well, whoever it is, they're going to play the Iowa thing because Albany doesn't stand a chance. So they're going to, anybody that complains that they're talking too much about Albany on this game should be that's not going to happen. They're gonna blow Iowa up. They're going to talk. Well, here's another one. How many times are they going to talk about Iowa being a dark horse for the playoffs? How many times will
that'll
that
be
come
brought up many times.
Oh yeah. Over and under on that is at least 3.
Yeah, definitely. Sorry, I'm just kind of going through here, seeing if I can find.
Here's another one. How many times will they bring up Iowa's difficult schedule?
Well, but according to Matt Campbell,
they've got
Iowa State's got the most difficult schedule in the country.
He's full of it. I looked at his schedule, and they play 2 ranked teams all year, and they just played one of them.
I know. It's just a way of basically what he was saying in his article was saying that he was building in an excuse for when they lose. Because I think he found out in that game they're not as good as he thinks they're going to be, or as he thought they were going to be. And now he's building in that excuse of, well, we play the toughest schedule in the country. And he's talking about South Dakota being tough and Arkansas State. And I'm like,
Arkansas
Are you kidding me?
If you don't beat Arkansas State by 40, you got problems.
Well, they got to go down to Arkansas. Still, it doesn't matter.
Football. They still play football in a 110 or 120-yard field when you count both 10-yard end zones. It's the same field everywhere.
All right, so the first game is Eric Collins and Spencer Tillman.
Okay.
And then game 2 against Iowa State will be Gus Johnson and Joel Klatt. And then we get to the Big Ten Network on game 3 with Anthony Herron and Mark Followill. And
that will be Massachusetts. Yeah.
Yeah. And then game 4, which is the Friday night game against Rutgers. Is that right?
Yep.
Tim Brando and Devin Gardner and Josh Sims, which Tim Brando is kind of annoying.
I got in-laws that are going to the Rutgers game because they have not been to Rutgers. They're the only, I think they might be, well, except for the new teams, the new 4 West Coast teams. That's the only team of the most recent Big Ten that they have not been to, so they're headed there.
Think of a lot better things to do than go to Piscataway, but
you got to at least say you've been there.
Yeah, and you can always say, I've been to the birthplace of college football.
Yeah.
So,
Rutgers.
Kudos to them. Hey, it's great at supporting the team. I love it. Piscataway would probably not be my ideal vacation destination to see a football game, but it'd be a pretty easy ticket to get, I would hope.
Early in the season.
Although fourth game, early in the season, first Big Ten game, I probably not, because they'll still be riding high on thinking they're going to be good.
I would say game 8, you could just about walk in and grab a cheap ticket anytime, anywhere in the stadium. But I don't know. Did you have anything on the 2 deeps that you thought was outrageous or surprised you by any sense of the word?
I think the only thing that really surprised me was a lot of the oars, and I don't know that like I said, I take the 2 deep with a grain of salt. I think it's putting something out on paper just for the sake of putting it out on paper, even though I get it. The pay for play is more prevalent with what the 2 deep is. That kind of helps dictate what your worth is, but I don't think he still puts a whole lot into that. I mean, you've got outside of your obvious ones. Gronowski you knew was going to be the starter.
Yeah.
Why would you bring him in otherwise?
Right.
But I think Sam Phillips over Reese Vanderzee was a little surprising, not shocking, but a little bit of a surprise, just simply because I felt like they were probably trying to balance out their receiving core a little bit with maybe a speedster and then a more of a tall guy and then maybe more of possession. Because I always look at Jacob Gill as more of a possession type of receiver. Yeah. And Reese Vanderzee is going to be my jump ball kind of guy. And Sam Phillips, Caden Weegan would be my burners. Caden Weegan not even being on the two deeps on the offensive side is a little bit of a surprise. Now, not shocking again, not like, oh gosh, that blows my mind, because he's not been a focal point of the offense. He's been more of a special teams player.
Right.
But the point being with him coming back was to try to get him a little bit more involved in that offensive side so that his value is a little higher for the NFL next year.
Mm-hmm. So let me ask you this.
It is just the first game.
We're going to play your little game, but I'm going to ask you a question.
Okay.
Of all the new players that are on the team this year, and the ones that will see playing time, Sam Phillips, Gronowski, on down the line, who's the one new player that you are most anxious to see play? Maybe I should take Gronowski maybe out of it and say you can't choose him, because that's the obvious choice.
Does it have to be somebody new to the roster, or can it be somebody who's new to the starting lineup?
It could be somebody that's just somebody that has not played a lot, and you're anxious to see them actually play.
Yeah, Carson Shire.
Yeah, I kind of like that too. I think he'll be. I'm going to give a spoiler here. When you talked about your breakout players of the year, I think Carson Shire will be one of them.
I do too.
I will put that on paper. Carson Shire, breakout player of the year. I've got it written down.
And I will also say that I think by probably the Indiana game, Preston Reese will be starting.
I wouldn't mind seeing that.
And that's not saying I think that Jaden Harrell's not any good, but I just think it's just going to be incredibly, incredibly hard to keep that kid off the field. And he's going to show something in practices that, and it could be a situation where Rexroth or Harrell or somebody gets beat on a play and they just aren't where they're supposed to. We had that situation a few years back. I don't remember who it was, but he played on the outside. I think he was the Leo. Do you remember who that was? Mm-hmm. Linebacker 52. And all, physically, the tools are there. You've heard all about how much he'd improved and all that. And then when the lights were the brightest, he faded. And I don't remember who that was. I don't remember
who that was either.
But I remember he got replaced by, God, it might have been Jack Campbell even. I don't remember for sure who it was. But
I'm sure
somebody out there that's listening, tell me who I'm missing, because I know you know who I'm talking about.
Put it in the comments. It's probably going to be Kelvin. He'll probably know. He's pretty well versed on stuff like that, so he'll probably know. Or maybe Dean will look it up. He can let us know.
Yeah, I think my breakout player is going to be Carson Shire.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Now, if I was to pick an offensive player, who's my breakout player?
I hope it's Gronowski. Because as goes Iowa.
Yeah, I'm going to say if let's take Gronowski out of the equation, it's got to be somebody outside of the quarterback. I think it's going to be Terrell Washington.
Well, he is the one guy that has the most diversity, utilitarianism. He can do so many different things. He can play wide out. He can catch the ball out of the backfield. He can run the ball. There's so many things that he's just kind of a utility guy that can do a lot of things. And if you can do that, a lot of times you will see the field considerably more than if you're just a single facet player.
As long as he's good at blitz pickup, I think he's got a really good shot of being out there, and not just a third down back. I think a lot of people are on the pigeonhole him into a third down back, and I think he's more than that. I go back to, I think people want to think that he's in that role of like Derek Mitchell was in 2015. I think he's more complete than that. I think he is more of he could be an every down back. Just needs the reps.
Yeah.
And, I think the fact that you've got Caleb Johnson ahead of him, Kamari Moulton's been ahead of him. don't know that Jazz is ahead of him at this point. I mean, he may be even with him. And that's a guy I'm rooting for, too. I really hope that he has a really good season. I hope they all have a great season.
I think this week you're going to see a multitude of players, even after and beyond the two deeps. You're going to see players that are not even on the two deeps going to play a considerable amount of minutes, especially in the third and fourth quarter. I think Iowa's going to be so far ahead at this point in the game that at the end that you're going to see guys that maybe even you might see McNeil even play.
I would not be surprised.
One of his games.
I would not be surprised to see either one of Hecklinski or Stratton or both at some point.
Let's get
maybe not
Hank Brown.
Quite that deep. I figure Gronowski can probably play the first half and maybe the possession or two in the third quarter. Yeah, and then Hank Brown will come in for a good portion of the third quarter and most of the fourth, and then you'll have your third string guy come in.
Hecklinski come in like
just
last
hand off to McNeil.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah,
so.
I hope it's that way. I do.
Or Xavier Williams.
Yeah, I'd like to see everybody get at least as many of the guys that can get in and get some reps. I know there's that 4-game rule on the freshmen before you can. Mm-hmm. If you play them more than 4 games, then they can't redshirt. So make this one of McNeil's games. Well, let him play.
You play him against Albany. You play him against UMass, and then you save him for injury situations later in the year. Yeah. And if you get down to the last, you get down to the Nebraska game, you may need him.
Yeah, I hope you don't, but if you do, at least this way he's got some carries. You know what he's about. He said you can say that he's got some game experience.
Yep.
So, yeah, I don't know. I'm excited. It's only 5 days away, and we are going to play some football.
Yep.
I didn't see too much.
My day blocked off.
Yeah, I do too. I didn't see too much over the weekend that really shocked me. I saw that one of the former Hawkeyes got a touchdown at Kansas. Yep. And that was good to see.
Looked pretty good.
Yeah. His first run of the year, he ran in for a touchdown. It was like 19 yards or 14 yards. So that was good. And I saw that Deuce Hogan threw a touchdown pass in his game. And
they won.
And they won, yeah. So, yeah, like I say, week 0, there wasn't a lot going on. But what did go on, of course, highlighted by the Iowa State-Kansas State game, of course. It was a fun weekend. I didn't spend a lot of time watching football, but I can guarantee you this weekend it will be front and center.
Wall to wall.
Yep. 11 o'clock till 10 o'clock, probably.
Yeah, definitely. Well, that's all I've got.
Yeah. No sense dragging it out. We'll keep it short for people. I do want to say one thing. We had a good friend of the show pass away here just recently. Actually related to us. Really great Hawkeye. Love the Hawks. And I just want to say a go Hawks for Richard Rappanecker, who passed away a couple of weeks ago. Great Hawkeye. Just loved the Hawks. Loved everything about them. And grew up in Burlington, Iowa. And God's got a good one after he gets there. So when he gets there, he'll be rooting on the Hawks. It's guaranteed.
Absolutely. So, well, as always, if you like the content here, make sure you give us a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't subscribed. We appreciate the new subscribers that have jumped on board. Viewership is up a little bit. I've been a little bit lax on getting some stuff out on time, but it's just been kind of a busy few weeks this last part of the summer, getting things ready for rolling into the football season. So,
hey, here's something else. Let us know about the new intro and outro that we've got, and let us know if you like it. It's going to be new. You're going to hear different music. You're going to see different highlights. We wanted to just bring out something different, and I think it really is going to look nice. You're going to like it, but let us know if you don't like it.
Yeah, I mean it could be ever evolving. My kids say I should do a new one every week, and I'm like, yeah, okay.
Who's got time for that?
I don't.
No.
So anyway, check us out on our social media pages as always, and click that, scan that QR code if you want to purchase any merchandise and help out Storm or help out the Iowa Flight Fund. All those proceeds will go to that, and with that, we'll get out of here on a Go Hawks and look for a fun weekend. And football's here.
Hawkeye victory.
Yes. So go Hawks.
Go Hawks.